Hello friends, Ben Ochart here. If you have a sump on your aquarium, like what I have in the aquarium behind me here, you might find this very interesting. You might find it interesting if you don't have a sump. Let's go ahead and get going on a tip on how to get a better water change when you have a sump on an aquarium. Let's go. For those of you not too familiar with a sump, what we're doing essentially is running water through cutouts in an overflow box. This tall black chamber is called an overflow box. Water flows through those cutouts, down through this plumbing and this flexible hose in this case, and into the top of the first chamber where there's a drip tray and some sponges that filter the water before it rolls over all of that media that you see there. Water then flows through that middle chamber where I have a large porous sponge the water has to go through, a couple algae scrubbers, and of course a lot of extra water volume when you have a sump. In this last chamber here, I have the heaters, and I have an ATO, automatic top-off unit, and of course I have the pump. In this case I have a Rio pump that you can see. It's rated at about 1,900 gallons an hour. Of course, it loses some of that in pushing the water up this hose to get the water back to the tank. That's referred to as head pressure, but the water then returns right there. My tip is this: go ahead and start draining your tank. When the water level has dropped well below the cutouts that would normally allow the water to overflow into the sump, once that water line has dropped, go ahead and restart your pump. Now keep in mind, I turned the pump off when I started to siphon, so water drained into the sump. And then what I do is, when that water line is well below those teeth, you know, those cutouts there, I go ahead and I restart the pump. Now what that does, by restarting this Rio pump that I have here, what that's going to do is it's going to move a significant amount of water from the sump into the tank. So here I go ahead and turn it back on again and let the water go ahead and start to move from the sump into the tank, the entire time staying below the cutouts in the overflow box. You can see here that the water line in the tank, once I've turned the pump back on, that water line starts to go up pretty quickly because it's essentially just filling the tank. It's not overflowing or escaping through the cutouts in the overflow box because the water line is significantly below those cutouts. So this will allow me to move water from the sump that can then be removed as part of the water change, and this will allow me to increase the total percentage of water that I'm actually swapping out, that I'm changing. And so this is, again, this is one of the advantages of a sump, is that you have more water volume and can have actually a more significant water change without necessarily dropping the water level within the tank that much, because you're replacing sump water. When you hear that sound, you know it's time to turn off the pump. Some pumps can run dry, but the Rio is not one of them. If you don't have water flowing through it, you're going to burn that pump out. But you can see here the water level is an inch or two higher. That's going to give me more water to be able to swap out. So just continue removing water from the tank like you would normally, and then go ahead and refill. And of course the overflow box will refill your sump, and you'll have a much more significant water change. I hope you found that useful, and if you did and you like the content on this channel, be sure to comment, rate, share, hit that bell, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you on Saturday at the live stream, Cichlids and Coffee. That's it for me. Thank you for tuning in. It is appreciated. Bye-bye.